in my opinion. That just seems like weird, never touch the lady energy, or definitely the lady is not the highest of qualities. Let's just say that, because I don't know what lady.
Player essence, player essence. I understand that you don't like that I'm calling you out, but if you have such a problem with what I am saying, and if what I am saying is so untrue, and I'm just slamming you and all that like you're claiming, why don't you prove it? Why do you have to go so low to where you attack people's families? And now you pretty much attacked my wife. You know I'm married, okay? I sat there and said in the debate that I was married, and now you're sitting there pretty much attacking my wife. You may not have sat there and said, oh, his wife, but you know I'm married. Stop this. You really need to sit here and stop this, okay? I know what you're trying to make me do. You're trying to get me angry. You're sitting there trying to get me to overreact. You're wanting me to freak out so you can sit there and actually have a gotcha moment or something, but it's not going to happen. I'll be the bigger man. Don't worry. I could attack your family and go lower than what you are, but I'm not going to do that because I'm more of a man than you'll ever be.
It's not even about gotchas. Like, there is no gotcha. Listen, we debated the topics. We put out the topics that we were going to debate about.
We? No. There was no we in that. I put out the topics. You did sit there and say that there were questions you wanted to ask me, but you didn't tell me exactly what questions that they were. You had time to prepare for what I wanted to talk about. Wasn't like I exactly had time to prepare for what you wanted to talk about.
I told him beforehand, I said, hey, I'm going to ask you questions based off of what you said about me, okay?
The only thing I can recall in that debate that you actually asked me when it came to stuff that I said about you was when it came to brainwashing, and I just firmly admitted that I didn't know what the definition was word for word. I'll admit that made me look a little bad, but at least I didn't make up and create a new definition to fit my narrative like you did. In your live streams, you try to sit there, or you use the term fanboy incorrectly. You sat there, made up a whole definition when it came to the word fanboy to say, oh, well, you know, you're illogical and all that, which doesn't even mean fanboy, not even the definition. Here's the actual definition of fanboy. The definition of fanboy, according to Google, is a male fan, especially one who is obsessive about comics, music, movies, or science fiction. And then the verb of a male fan behave in an obsessive or overexcited way. Can you sit there and not tell me when you watch his stuff that he is not overly excited and does not obsessive about Nintendo? Please tell me that he does not do that.
So it's not a gotcha. It's literally questioning you what you said. So if I can question you and you don't know what you're talking about in terms of debate topics, then that's not my problem.
Okay, now you're just trying to rewrite what happened in that debate because you didn't really ask me any questions. You tried to give examples to disprove me, but they didn't disprove what I said. I could have disproved what you said, and then Prime stepped in. You did ask me questions about what I said about you. You were like trying to do a gotcha, like, oh, you don't remember everything you said about me? And like I keep saying, my guy, you cannot expect me to remember word for word what I said in videos, okay? That is being unrealistic. I seriously, well, you've already shown that you don't even remember what you say. You claim to be a news facts-based channel, but in that whole debate, you didn't drop any facts. Prime had to. Prime was able to remember them offhand. What is your excuse?
Don't get got. You know what I'm saying? Like, funny how I didn't get any caught in any gotcha.
No, that's not true. You did. I got you when it came to clout chasing. You sat there and tried to make it seem like I was this horrible person who just wanted to clout chase. I proved you wrong, and you tried to brush it under the rug, and you ignored me and just continued on and on. No, you got. You just act like you didn't.
Gotcha, debate, things like that, and I'd embrace that. If somebody wants to bring a gotcha or says that I contradicted myself, feel free to bring it to the table.
Well, I know you watch these videos because I'm not stupid. I can tell in your live streams the way you act after each time I make a video, so I know you're watching them where someone's giving you a Spark Note version of what I said. But here's a gotcha. You claimed I was a clout chaser because I was only going after people who had more subscribers that were bigger than me. That's what you were making it seem like in that debate. And then when I brought up the fact, oh, I react to somebody smaller than me, you were like, oh, that that it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. You just don't want it to matter. Just because you claim it doesn't matter doesn't mean it doesn't.
But we all said, hey, look, I said, I am going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you a few questions about what you've said about me. Whether you think it's a gotcha moment or whatever the case is, that's irrelevant.
I wouldn't really say that it was a gotcha moment, but you said, don't act like this was like a fair footing type thing. Don't pretend like you're going to sit there and act like it. You had to team up with someone else to sit there and take me on. If you were so good at debating, you were this big man like you want to claim you are, you wouldn't have had to involve yourself into another person's debate. That was supposed to be between just me and Prime. And then me and you were supposed to have our own debate on Tuesday, but you involved yourself because you know you can't hold ground on your own. Trying to debate somebody. Don't pretend like you can't. We all know you can't.
What the point is that he agreed to do the debate. He agreed to take questions on the stuff that he says about me. So my issue with him was he's full of shit.
Which you did not prove in that debate. I am still waiting for you to sit there and prove what I said was wrong. The only thing you were like, oh, well, maybe you should go back and watch all my videos and you'll sit there and see. No, that's not my job. If what I sat there and said was untrue, it is your job to show the proof, and you have yet to show any proof. All you do is ramble on, and I will, like I've said before, you are really good at talking. I will give you that one. You are really good at making it seem like you know what you're talking about, but you don't.
So therefore, I am going to call him out on the stuff to where I think that he's full of ish.
Okay, and the only thing you really called me out on was not knowing the definition of brainwashing, and at least I was man enough to admit I didn't know it word for word. Unlike you, who was using a word incorrectly, and then when finally I'm guessing that someone called you out on it, and then you sat there and switched it up, because then you sat there, said what your definition was, and then was like, well, this is my definition of what that word meant. I guarantee you, if that debate, I would have been like, well, this is what my definition of this word, I would have been chastised for that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you want to call it a gotcha and I stick to that.
Yeah, nobody knows what you're saying. But just so everyone's clear, I never once said in any of my videos that he was just doing a gotcha moment. I don't know where that came from, to be honest.
That was my questions. The other stuff that he wanted to debate, to me, was almost irrelevant.
I agree. That's why the debate was supposed to be between me and Nintendo Prime. It wasn't supposed to involve you. That's why I sat there those were the topics I wanted to debate on, because that was the stuff that me and Prime were kind of going back and forth about. He was making videos on it, and I wasn't. The reason why I wanted to discuss the price of the game was because Prime kept going back and forth if it was worth the damn price. So you involved yourself into a debate you weren't supposed to be involved in. If it was just me and you, it might have been a little different. We might have skipped over the whole damn thing, because you probably would have saw the debate between me and Prime and was like, well, there's no point talking about these topics. I would have agreed, and then we would have just had a debate over what I was saying about you. That would have been the best way to do it. But no, you had to involve yourself into a debate you didn't belong in.
I didn't have a problem with him saying the $80 Mario Kart. I agreed with him.
Yeah, your words may say that, but your actions show differently. You can't sit there and say, oh, I don't agree with it, and then go pay for it yourself. That's not how that works.
I didn't have a problem with, I think, one of the other things that he said in terms of the game key cards. I agreed with him. I only had a problem with him lying.
And I never did lie. Can you please prove to me how I lied? You never have been able to prove it. You make all these claims and don't back up anything with any type of facts or evidence.
So if you want to talk about gotcha, no, I'm calling this dude out for being a liar.
You know, you keep switching it up, because before you kept sitting there saying I was calling him out. I wanted to debate him to prove that he was low IQ. Now you're sitting there trying to say, oh, it's because I'm a liar. I think it's because you're getting a lot of pushback from people because you don't know how to keep your mouth shut. You don't know the magical thing to shut the fuck up. You know, I have not been hearing from Prime, or Prime hasn't done any videos. I don't know if he has been getting any hate, but I don't hear Prime getting any pushback from that debate.
And I said it in the stream. He's a liar and he's disingenuous.
No, that was you who was being disingenuous, because how this all started, if anybody's watching this new, he did a live stream where someone commented something about Nintendo Switch 2 not being that successful or whatever. It was something to do with that. And then he brought up the pre-orders and specifically isolated Japan and was like, oh, well, look how well it's doing. Just look at the pre-orders in Japan alone, knowing that they get a cheaper console. So I called him out for it, and he didn't like it. And then he sits there and says now that I'm being disingenuous because he proved that I over-exaggerate and play up everything for my audience, which, newsflash, like, I'm not gonna say everybody, because there's gonna be some people like, oh, I don't do that. Most people on YouTube that become very successful do over exaggerate. Okay, you can go look at pretty much anybody that's successful on YouTube, and they over exaggerate something to be entertaining. If you're like just this boring self, where you're like monotoned and everything, don't sit there and change up your voice or anything, you're not gonna go anywhere. Even look at Player Essence. You can check out his live streams, and he does the exact same thing. He over exaggerates certain stuff to make himself look better, to be more entertaining.
That's what I called him on. And I called him out pretty damn well, in my opinion.
Well, the opinion of a person who has no integrity doesn't mean jack shit.
So, nah, like, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about him lying.
Well, that's not what you were saying before. Now you're all of a sudden saying this almost a week after the fact of the debate. Now you're starting to say, oh, I want to talk about it. I wanted to call him out because he was lying. Before, it was like, I just wanted to prove he was low IQ. Now you're saying this. Why can't you just keep it the same? Why do you have to keep switching it up?
Not gotcha moment. Dude, stop lying, and then nobody will have to call you out for being a liar.
I was never called out for being a liar. You were saying I was being disingenuous and everything, which I wasn't. You were the one that was being disingenuous. The whole thing was, you just can't handle criticism. You don't like being called a fanboy. Literally, check out his live streams every once in a while, because I guarantee you in almost every single live stream, it will come down to it where someone will start criticizing him, someone will start challenging him, he will get annoyed, and he will sit there and try to get people to pay him money. Because every time it seems like someone tries to argue with them, he calls them a troll, and it's like, oh, well, there's a troll tax. You have to pay $10 for me to continue on.
That's the problem with people in today's day. People lie, then they get mad when they get called out for being a liar.
Well, I wasn't really called out for being a liar, but that's not what I'm supposedly mad about, because you're the one that loves to say, oh, he's salty, he's mad. No, if anything, what I'm mad about is that you sat there and attacked my family. That's what I'm mad about.
Let's see here. Gloria with the $10 says, that sounds like BS, OJ, ignore him. Yeah, like...
I mean, that's some great advice, but you know he's not going to do it. He can't ignore it. His ego is too big. He can't sit there and handle criticism of any kind, so he has to know if people are talking about him. I guarantee you he's constantly on Twitter checking if anybody's talking about him, or he's constantly on YouTube seeing if anybody's reacting to him. I guarantee you that man is doing that. Now, I could be wrong. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't really care if I'm wrong, but he does have that type of mindset where he would do something like that.
I'm not doing any more debates or anything like that, because these people are freaking idiots.
That I recall, I don't think anybody wants to do any debates. I haven't heard anybody call you out or sit there and say, I want to debate you. I haven't done it. I don't debate people like you. If I would have known this is who you were, I wouldn't have debated you to begin with. What's the point of debating with someone who's going to attack your family?
I'm not doing it. I ain't doing no more debates. I'm not responding to any weirdo robot.
You know, you can keep talking crap all you want. I'd rather be a weird robot guy than a middle-aged man who throws temper tantrums and acts like a man-child with a big-ass forehead like you.
YouTubers, you know what I'm saying? Grifting and starting to grift. Obviously, it's a grift now that we expose that.
You didn't expose shit. What are you talking about? You keep sitting here throwing shit out there, but you have no facts to back it up. You claim that I'm grifting when I'm not. I sat there and chose this crap because this is what I enjoy doing. I was doing other types of stuff, and I fell on this one because I'm extremely passionate for the consumer, which you are not. You proved that you're going to stand for greedy corporations. You proved that you're not for the consumer.
You know, I'm not responding to nobody like that. Listen, let me tell you guys, and I was going to say this one more time. Listen.
You keep saying that every live stream, but you're going to continue to say it. We all know it.
These dudes wake up ass hurt and upset.
I'm only going to speak for myself right now, but no, that's not true. I don't wake up ass hurt. I don't wake up upset like he's claiming. He's just full of it.
Angry every single day, looking for clips to be mad about and yell. This is called depression.
Has anybody seen me yell in my videos, especially with you? I might sit in there and heighten my voice, like I said, to be over-exaggerating, to be more entertaining, but has anybody honestly ever heard me yell in a single one of my videos where I'm just yelling and angry? Can anybody name a single point?
In YouTube form. This is literally the form of depression for a lot of these guys. And I don't want to sit here and make light of depression because, it's a serious problem. But I'm telling you right now, waking up and being angry and yelling and finding clips to dookie on another YouTuber every single day.
Oh, stop playing a victim. Stop pulling the victim card with us. You're just mad that it was you and you're mad that you got exposed. That's all it is.
It just seems to me like it's exhausting, it's weird as hell, and it seems like it seems like a waste of time.
Nah, the only thing weird or a waste of time is seeing a 50-year-old man-child like you throwing temper tantrums when someone challenges him and criticizes him.
I'd rather spend that time talking about stuff that I love, games that I love, stuff that I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be sitting here wasting my time talking about another grown man. How you 35 years old sitting here?
I'd rather be a 35-year-old me that's calm, cool, and collected than a middle-aged man-child like you.
Making multiple videos, calling people fanboys. That just seems like weird, low testosterone energy.
Well, it's your fault that I have to keep making multiple videos about you. Maybe if you would have learned the magical thing of shut the fuck up years ago like you should have, I wouldn't have to teach you it. But don't worry, I will make you into a man one day.
In my opinion, that just seems like weird, never touch the lady energy, or definitely the lady is not the highest of qualities. Let's just say that, because I don't know what lady.
My wife is a very high quality, thank you, so why don't you try again?
If I was doing that, my wife would slap the hell out of me, and I'd probably get divorced. If she saw what I was doing for the amount of views and money they're getting.
You know, even doing the stuff you're doing now, did you start off making the money you are? So why you say you're bringing up the amount of views I'm getting? We all start off at this level. What are you trying to get at?
If my wife saw that, I'd get divorced if she saw me doing crap like that for the views that they get.
I don't think anybody cares what goes on with you.
Couple 10,000, 20,000, 30 for that, that's it. And if you were making millions, then okay, I get that. But for a couple thousand views?
How many views were you getting starting off there? Were you getting millions of views or the amount of views you're getting right now?
I'm gonna be working on content. I ain't doing no stupid debates with people with fake robots and weirdos.
My guy, I don't want to debate you. The way you said it just now, some people are going to think that I'm going to want to debate you, which I don't. I don't debate people that are low-class, vile scum who with no integrity like you.
And crayon nosers, you know, fanboy, that's fine. But crayon nosers, where's the crayon nosers?
Well, we all knew that you ate paint chips as a kid, so now you're sitting there saying that you're selling crayons up your nose?
I ain't doing no debates with crayon nosers, bruh. We ain't doing that, you know, like, or miss the shapes.
I don't want to do a debate with you either. So going forward, we don't have to keep talking about this. Why are you bringing it up? Why are you acting like now I want to debate you?
Can't define what brainwashing is. Can use it, but cannot define what it is, bro. The crayon in the nose.
Yes, at least I'm man enough to where I can admit that I didn't know what the definition of that word was. At least I don't sit there and try to create a brand new definition of a word to fit my narrative like you do with Fanboy.
You know, I can give him some credit for at least trying to be factual and what he's trying to say and kind of put, okay, just his personal opinion. Hey, look, we can have that, but we got to actually go over the facts. We got to actually go over what the facts are. And that's what a debate is about.
Oh, I agree that a debate should be over facts.
A debate is about the facts. What did you say? What did you not say? It is not about...
Again, agreed. What are you trying to get at?
I mean, you can make it about your emotions if you want to, but that's not what a debate is about. A debate is about the facts.
Agreed, but still, why didn't you bring any facts into our debate?
A lot of these guys, you know what I'm saying, weird robots and stuff like that, they don't...
Again, I would rather be a weird robot guy than a middle-aged man-child with a big-ass forehead.
The reason why they don't want to debate, a lot of guys, is because they're emotional. Because everything is about their emotion. Everything is about unconfirmed information. Everything is about how they feel.
The only reason why you wanted to do the debate was because of emotions. You didn't like how you were being portrayed. You didn't like how I was calling you out. Well, if you don't like it, quit acting like that.
And how I want this, it should be this, give me this now, it should be on this, it should...
You can keep saying I all you want, but the only thing I'm doing is standing up for the consumer. What you're doing is standing up for greedy corporations.
That's the thing about a debate, man. It's got to be about the facts. You know, some people don't like that. Some people like to see people crash out all day.
Well, that's what you like to do. You love seeing people crash out, and I love how you sit there and say that's the point of the debate, bringing the facts. What did you bring? You have yet to prove anything. You have yet to show what you brought. The only thing you keep going on about that you brought was when it came to brainwashing, and it's not like I'm embarrassed over it. I could not name the definition word for word, just like I said.
I'll say this, I've said it before. I only did that debate just to show you guys a big warning shot.
Yeah, and you also sat there and gave other reasons why you chose to do the debate. You said another time, oh, well, the reason why I chose to do the debate was to prove that he was low IQ. Then you sat there and went on again and said, oh, the reason why I did the debate was because I saw Prime was doing it. Make up your mind, which one is it?
None of these guys at all want the smoke. They saw that debate, that guy got cooked.
Not by you. You have yet to produce any facts that you did.
Absolutely got grilled over rotisserie.
Yeah, you can't grill over rotisserie. That is not how that works.
So it's over, man. That's done. That was the Eminem kill shot, bro. That was it.
Okay, for one, neither of us are in the same league as Eminem or Machine Gun Kelly. That's just disrespectful to Eminem. Now, he has said that earlier when people brought up the whole Kendrick and Drake trying to sit there and say my situation and his. That is completely disrespectful to them. But if we're going to sit there and look at, let's break down the beef between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem. You know, whether you believe that Machine Gun Kelly fired the first shot, I actually think Eminem did. So we'll start with that one. Eminem fired the first shot, then Machine Gun Kelly fired back. Then Eminem fired back, and then Machine Gun Kelly ran away. So let's look at mine and his situation. I fired the first shot, then he fired back. I fired back again. He has yet to fire back. Look at what he's doing. He's running and hiding. He's not sitting there going to fire back. So if between us two, who's really the Eminem in the situation and who is the Machine Gun Kelly? I'll let you guys decide. Well, that's going to be it for my reaction. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with me or not. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay vigilant.